Is he the right fit for Arsenal? Probably, but that's on paper. There's so much more that goes on behind the scenes.
Is it just the pace, the physicality, the skill level, or is it also the scrutiny as well that goes with it?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of all of them, isn't it? Because I think you've probably seen players perform maybe in different leagues, and it is going to be different to the Premier League. So it's adapting to that, adapting to the club, the culture as well. You know, maybe if they haven't played in England before, but it is, of course, the scrutiny. If you're playing at one of the top-end clubs, straight away, you know, how long has everybody been saying that Arsenal need to go and get a recognised number 9? So you're that recognised number 9 that comes in, and straight away you're expected to score goals. But I think if you are a top-class striker, you probably do believe in yourself, and you believe that you can do that. You know that Arsenal have got players that are going to create for you. So, yeah, I think it's probably a combination of all of those factors when you come in.
My big thing is when a sporting director comes in is that name's no different to anyone. So
yeah.
why do you need a sporting director to go, we'll go after him? Arteta could have told you that. Or any of us could have said, well, Gyokeres is a good player, so why not go after him? I think your job as a sporting director is to go out and find the gems that no one else finds, or get deals done where you think you can't get them done. And I know people will say, well, you can't get Gyokeres. Well, you can, because he's going to move to the Premier League and you're going to pay a king's ransom for him. So that deal should be able to get done. It's the other players that you've got to fill in the gaps in the squad, that you're thinking, okay, where can we go and find good players and the gems that are going to not only add to our squad, but add value to the squad as well. So if we do need to sell players down the line and raise money, then we've got players that were adding value to the squad.
I think that's why we speak so highly, isn't it, about the likes of Brentford and Brighton and, you know, teams like that do bring in players that you go, oh, not really heard of them, and then suddenly, you know, they go for, you know, £100 million, and you think, well, that's a real clever sporting director, isn't it? A real clever club where they bring in players that you don't know, maybe a young player, and then they develop them and sell them on for whatever value. But I do think with Arsenal, not only is it about bringing the right players in, it's also probably about signing the players that are, or re-signing the players that are already there if they're coming towards the end of the contract, and maybe getting rid of some of the ones that they don't want. And I just think it's so important that he's got that relationship with Arteta as well. You know, it's a communication between the two of them.
Yeah,
it's not just him going out. It's about how they work together, and I think that will be key.
But those clubs you mentioned, Sue, they rely very much on statistics, don't they?
Yeah.
And kind of this idea of looking at all the stats and all the metrics. But what you're saying, Stephen, is that ability to perform under the most intense scrutiny is the intangible one of it, isn't it? Because
there's
you
no
just
metric
don't
for it.
know.
No. There's no metric for that. That's the difficult one to be able to sort of find, isn't it? And that's why it's so difficult when you are signing players, is can they do it at the highest level? I mean, the notable ones in the Premier League are Kevin De Bruyne and Mohamed Salah. Both failed at Chelsea, or deemed to have failed at Chelsea, but were very young when they went to Chelsea, went away, proved that they could do it. And when Kevin De Bruyne re-signed into the Premier League at Manchester City, everyone went, yeah, but he failed at Chelsea. He can't do it in the Premier League. But the managers saw something different. Salah, they saw something different in him as well. And it's trying to pick out what you're looking for as a scout to know that you can do it under pressure. And what you're trying to find is you're trying to watch them in the most pressurised situation in games, and do they sink or swim in them games? And I think that's where you can find a barometer on those players as to how courageous they are, how strong mentally they are in them situations.
Well, we're still waiting for Mikel Arteta to arrive for his news conference, but let's have a look at these pictures. Because look, here is Andrea Berta there for the news conference today. Let's go around shaking a few hands. There is going to be a lot of scrutiny on him, isn't there, Sue? And this idea that he has to, in some ways, produce a magic wand and deliver.
Yeah, 100%, and get the right players in. Like we spoke about, not only the right mentality, but the right profile of player, a player that's going to fit with Arsenal and fit with Mikel Arteta and the players in and around. So, yeah, there's a lot of pressure on him, and doing the right things, like I say, bringing the players in, getting rid of the players that they don't want. But he'll certainly back himself. He's done it. He's well known, isn't he, for bringing it.
Championship. I remember watching him in the Championship and thinking this player looks a class apart, really, from the teams he was playing, the players he was playing with. He joined Coventry for £1 million from Brighton and really worked hard in that off-season, building up his physique and started knocking around Championship defenders, scored 20 goals that season, and since he's gone to Sporting, he's just taken off. 45 goals in 43 matches for them in the Portuguese league. But look at this season, 21 games, this is club and country, 21 games, 27 goals, 4 goals for Sweden. It's just incredible numbers for Gyokeres. £85 million release clause in his contract, Rob. Wonder if anyone might be tempted to put out that huge amount of money for him.